Good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss the topic of single phase transformer. Now what is a transformer? A transformer is a static device which transfers the electrical energy from one circuit to another circuit with constant frequency. Now this transformer operates on the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, and in this transformer we are using a core, and for single phase transformer we are using two windings, that is already called as two winding transformer. Now this is a core which is represented here, and on both the sides we are drawing the windings. The winding which is connected to the supply side, here we are giving a single phase AC supply because it is the transformer, it operates only on AC system, not in DC. Now in AC, once we are giving the supply V1, it draws a current of I1 in the primary winding. The winding which is connected to the supply side is known as primary winding, and the winding which is connected to the load side is known as secondary winding. This is the load. Now what is a load? Load is a device which consumes the electrical energy. Now once we are giving supply from the primary side with supply V1, it draws a current I1, and this current, it enters into the coil or the winding which is connected in the primary side having number of turns N1. Now this current, when enters into the number of windings N1, it produces a MMF, that is MMF, magnetomotive force, is equal to N1 into I1. Now due to this magnetomotive force N1 I1, it creates a flux. Flux is what? It is a magnetic lines of forces, that is equal to MMF upon reluctance. So by formula, the flux is directly proportional to or flux is equal to N1 I1 divided by S. S is the reluctance, MMF is N1 into I1, where N1 is the number of turns and I1 is the current flowing in the primary winding. Now from, if we are considering N1 and reluctance as constant, then phi is directly proportional to I1. So the flux which is flowing or produced in the primary winding due to the primary winding current and number of turns, it flows in the core of the transformer in this way as phi. Now once this flux flows in the core, due to the change of flux or due to the AC supply, it gets changed and EMF is induced in the primary winding as E1 is equal to N1 d phi by dt. This EMF is due to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, which shows that E1 is equal to N1 d phi by dt, where N1 is the number of turns and d phi by dt is the rate of change of flux linkage. Now according to the Lenz's law, the EMF which is generated, it opposes the cause which is produced due to it. Now for this we will give a negative sign in the EMF generation. So if we are giving the voltage, that voltage what we are giving is a AC voltage. Suppose V1 is equal to Vm sin omega t. This is the initial voltage, input AC voltage we are giving. For this we are getting a current I1, that is equal to Im sin omega t. Now due to this current, the flux which is produced is phi, that is equal to phi m sin omega t. Now when this flux changes with respect to time, if we will substitute the flux value here, we will get minus N1 d by dt of, in place of phi we are substituting phi m sin omega t. Now if we differentiate this term with respect to dt, phi being a constant quantity, we take outside of the differentiation now, that is N1 phi m d by dt of sin omega t with respect to t is omega cos omega t. Now this is equal to N1 phi m omega cos omega t, we can write as sin pi by 2 minus omega t. Now sin being a odd function, we can take this minus sign inside this, so this will give us N1 phi m omega sin omega t minus pi by 2. So here this one, or we can write E1 is equal to capital EM1 sin omega t minus pi by 2. This is the fourth equation. So from this we get that if we give a flux of pi m sin omega t, then the EMF which is induced in the primary winding due to the current I1 and number of turns is EM1 sin omega t minus pi by 2. So here this EM1 is what? This is the maximum value of EMF which is induced in the primary side, and if we compare the equation 3 and 4, from this we can get that here we get phi m sin omega t and here we are getting EM1 sin omega t minus pi by 2. Means EMF which is induced is lagging the flux by an angle pi by 2. Now this EM1 is, we can write EM1 where EM1 is equal to N1 omega phi m, or in place of omega we can write N1 2 pi f into phi m. So this 2 pi f into phi m, N1 2 pi f phi 1 is equal to the maximum value of EMF induced, or if we will elaborate this one, we will get 4.44 N1 f phi m. So finally we will get EM1 is equal to 4.44 N1 f phi m. Now this EMF is what? This is the maximum value of EMF which is induced in the primary winding of the transformer. Similarly, since the core is a lossless core, means whatever the flux is induced, is same flux will leak through the core from primary to the secondary winding due to the mutual induction principle. Now as we have differentiated and reduced the value of EMF in this way, similarly we will get the value of E2. E2 is equal to EM2 sin omega t minus pi by 2. This is the equation or EMF which is induced here in the secondary winding. E1 is the induced EMF in the primary winding, and due to this N2, E2 is the secondary voltage which is induced. EMF E2 is the voltage induced in the secondary winding, and this side, secondary side, when it is connected with the load, it becomes a closed circuit and it produces a secondary current I2, and this current, due to this current, we will get a load voltage V2 on the across the load side. Now if we will consider the equation and accordingly from this equation 6 we will get EM2 is equal to 4.44 N2 F phi m. This is the equation number 7 which is produced from equation number 6. Now if we now consider the equation number 5 and 7, in both the equation the common part is the 4.44 F and phi m. Only difference is in their number of turns N1 and N2. Now if we will compare these two or divide both the terms, EM1 or EM2 by EM1, we will get 4.44 N2 F phi m divided by 4.44 N1 F phi m. So phi m and frequency and this constant term will get cancelled, and finally we will get the term N2 by N1. Now this E1 and E2 both are produced from the voltage, supply voltage. So we can also write that E1 or E2 by E1 is equal to V2 by V1 is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to I1 by I2 is equal to K. This formula or this K is known as the transformation ratio. K is known as the transformation ratio, which is E2 by E1 is equal to V2 by V1 is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to I1 by I2. Now this phasor diagram of the transformer. Now before going to the phasor diagram, we will see how this flux gets changed due to the current I2. Now already we have discussed that due to the I1 and N1 term MMF is produced, and due to the MMF the flux is generated. Now once this flux is linking with the secondary side, we are getting the EMF E2, and due to this E2 we are getting I2 current. Now this I2 current again links with the number of turn N2 side, which produces another flux phi2 from the secondary side to the primary side. Now the total flux which is already produced due to the main voltage V1, now it is get opposed by this flux phi2. So the total flux now is remaining is phi minus phi2. Now this phi minus phi2 will reduce the efficiency of the transformer, and it cannot be possible because the supply voltage we are giving is nearly about a constant voltage with constant magnitude. So to maintain this flux constant, the primary winding it draws another additional current I2 dash, which produces a flux phi2 dash, which is similar or same in magnitude with that of phi2 but opposite in direction. So due to this, the phi2 and phi2 dash, both of the fluxes being equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, they get cancelled each other, and the actual flux or the main flux flowing in the core remains constant. Now this current which is produced, so the total current I1 is now what? It is I0 plus I2 dash. I0 is what? I0 is the no load current which is flowing in the primary winding at the time where load is not connected in the secondary side. Now if you will consider the phasor diagram of both the two transformer, now here before going to that, we can consider this one, that V2 by V1 is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to K. Now from this what we understood is, now whenever this number of turn in the primary side is greater than that of the number of turn in the secondary side, when N2 is greater than N1, so V2 becomes greater than V1, and it is giving a step up transformer. What is step up transformer? When secondary side number of turn is greater than that of the primary side number of turn, the voltage induced in the secondary side also become more than that of the primary side voltage. So at this condition we are transferring the power at higher voltage. So this is, at this condition we say the transformer is a step up transformer. When N2 is less than N1, means number of turns in the primary secondary side is less than that of the number of turns of the primary side. So V2 is also less than V1. Now in this condition we say it is a step down transformer. Step down transformer. Now let us come to the phasor diagram. Now the phasor diagram, what we have understood from the equation is, the flux is common to both primary and secondary side. So we take flux as a reference phasor or reference vector in the phasor diagram. Now what we have got, flux is phi m sin omega t, and with respect to that the EMF which is induced is phi e2 sin omega t minus pi by 2. Minus pi by 2 means EMF which is induced is lagging the flux which is produced. So E1 and E2 both are represented in the negative y-axis with a lagging angle of pi by 2 degree or 92 degree. Now what is V1? V1 is the primary voltage, E1 is the induced voltage. Now in between this voltage there will be a difference in case of practical transformer. In case of ideal transformer there is no loss in the winding, so input voltage or supply voltage is same as that of the induced voltage. So V1 is equal to E1. But in case of ideal practical transformer, E1 is less than V1. By how much value? E1 we can write V1 minus I1 into R1 plus JX1. Now what is this? Is the voltage drop. This is the voltage drop in the primary winding. Now what is R1? R1 is the primary winding resistance and X1 is the primary winding reactance. So E1 is V1 minus I1 into R1 plus JX1. So this R1 and plus JX1, it is in total known as Z1. So R1 is what? R1 is the resistance, X1 is the reactance and Z1 is the impedance of the primary winding. So this minus sign, this is not a algebraic sum, rather it is a vector sum. So for drawing the vector sum, what we are doing is we are simply rotating the phasor by 180 degree from this side to lower side to upper side. So here we will draw the same magnitude of E1 in opposite side as minus E1. Now what? This current, which is the primary current I1, is the current sum of I0 and I2 dash. Now what is I1? What is I0? I0 is the no load current of the transformer. Now this no load current is again divided into two components, IW and IM. What is IW? IW is the working component or the loss component and IM is the magnetizing component of the no load current. The flux which is produced is the production due to this magnetizing current. So we can draw the IM vector on same phase as that of the flux. So I0 and IW and IM both are the rectangular components of I0. Now if we represent IM on the positive x-axis, so I0 will be on this axis, y-axis, as IW. The resultant of these two phasors is nothing but the vector I0. Now when we consider this V1 side, now when we have considered V2, similarly from as we have written this equation, we can write V2 is equal to E2 minus I2 into R2 plus JX2. That means V2 is the load voltage on the secondary side, that is less than that of the induced voltage on the secondary side by the term I2 into R2 plus JX2. Now what we are doing is, if this is the voltage V2, again V2 is the vector sum of E2 and these two. Now if we draw the vector V2 and current I2 will lag the voltage by an angle phi 2. Why it is lagging? Because the load which we are considering is a inductive load in nature. Now this I2 R2 drop, this is a resistive drop which is parallel to the load current or secondary side current, that is I2 R2, and with this I2 X2 is the perpendicular to this one, so it is I2 X2, and the resultant of these two is known as I2 Z2, and resultant of E2 and I2 Z2 is E2. Now, already we have considered that I1 is a vector sum of I0 and I2 dash. So I2 dash we can draw 180 degree phase shift to I2, that is in this side with same magnitude and opposite in direction as I2 dash. So the resultant of these two current is, how we draw by using parallelogram law of vector addition. So I2 dash will draw in parallel to this one and I0 this one, and the resultant of these two will give the total input side current as I1. After that what we will do? We will find out E1 as a vector sum of V1 as a vector sum of E1 and I1 or Z1. So with this voltage E1, we will draw I1 R1 drop, because from this voltage we will write as E1 is equal to V1 minus I1 into R1 plus JX1. We can write V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 into R1 plus JX1. So V1 we will get by the vector sum of E1 and I1 Z1. So to get this vector sum, we will draw I1 R1 drop, which is a resistive drop. It is drawn parallel to I1 with E1, that is I1 R1. Now I1 X1, it is a reactive drop which is perpendicular to this I1 R1. So we can draw in this way as I1 X1. The resultant of these two is I1 Z1, and the resultant of E1 and I1 Z1 is the voltage V1. So voltage V1 is the primary voltage, I1 is the primary current of the transformer, and the angle between these two is the phase angle Phi1, and the angle between V1 and I0 is the no load phase angle Phi0. The angle between the secondary voltage and current is the secondary phase angle voltage Phi2. Now IW is what? I0, it is the adjacent side of the I0. So if you will resolve this into two components, now IW, what we get? IW is I0 cos phi 0 and IM is equal to I0 sin phi 0. So these are the two equations again we will get from this phasor diagram. Now we will go for the equivalent circuit of the transformer. Equivalent circuit of single phase transformer. In the equivalent circuit of single phase transformer, we will draw the equivalent circuit in other than the main circuit. So here what will represent all the resistive, reactive components and the current without considering the core part. So here this is the primary side supply with voltage V1. This is the resistance and reactance of the circuit. Now this current I1 is the phasor sum of two current, that is I0 and I2 dash. I0, it flows in the core side which is having two component, parallel component, that is known as the no load component, with values are 0 and x0, and the current flowing through these two is IW and IM. Now this I2 dash, it flows in the core side, it produces EMF E1. Now this is the secondary side coil with resistance R2 and X2 with the load connected in the secondary side, and normally we are considering the inductive load because most of the loads are inductive in nature, and due to this the EMF which is induced is E2 and the current induced is I2, and this one is the voltage on the secondary side. Clear? So from this primary side we have given the supply voltage V1, and due to this we got current I1. I1 is the current which is flowing in the primary winding R1 and X1, and this current is the resultant sum of or vector sum of I0 and I2 dash. Now I0 has two components, IW and IM, which flows in R0 and X0. These two are the parallel component which is parallel to this voltage V1, and this is the core side, and the EMF which is induced in this one is E1 primary side voltage, secondary side voltage with the turns ratio K, and these are the two resistance and reactance component of the winding of the secondary side, and due to this current I2 it gets a drop R2 and X2 dash, and finally we get a voltage of V2 across the load. This is the exact equivalent circuit of the transformer.